Hey, what's up, guys? This is Coach Ross here at Persevere Gym. We're starting a new series on mobility, and we're hoping to make some longer videos that we can't normally do on Instagram, TikTok, that kind of thing. So today I'm going to be putting Coach X through a hip mobility session. We're hoping this is around about 30 minutes. What you'll need for this is a small box. We got a 12-inch box right here, and we got 2 yoga blocks and a yoga mat. You can substitute some of these items, but that's the general equipment that you're looking for today. So what I really want to start off with is a bridge. Most people have done a bridge before. Really good for the hips, for the lower back, and it's going to tell us what we need to do with our pelvis and some of these other positions. So for this first bridge, he's going to put the middle of his feet on that box, and he's going to put his elbows down into the floor to brace his upper body, and then he's going to lift his hips just off the ground. Perfect. And what I want him to do now is I want him to think about tucking his pelvis underneath. So if you had a tail, you're tucking that tail between your legs, and then you're going to arch. So then you're going to arch that pelvis back. And I want you to just go through those 2 positions. Try to arch and try to round. So the reason I'm covering this today, guys, is this is a really difficult motion for a lot of people, and you're very taken back by the hamstring tension on these. Remember, your hamstrings pull on your pelvis. There you go. Now you're doing it. Perfect, perfect. I think a lot of guys need to learn this. Wouldn't you agree? So we'll do about 8 reps. We'll get about 8 reps. If you need to take a break like that, go ahead, drop the hips to the ground, and then take a rest. Yep. And you may notice one of the positions is harder than the other one. Good. Let's go for about 2 more here, X. Good. And the last one here. And then go ahead and take a breath. So when you're doing these, you're going to feel things in your lower back. You're going to feel things in your hamstrings. That's what we're going for here. You might even feel a slight stretch in your abs. Remember, cramping is okay. We can get through a cramp. We just need to take a short rest. Okay, so now Coach X, let's face forward. We'll go up into a kneeling position. Yep. If you have a yoga mat, you can use the yoga mat, double fold it under your knee, whatever you need to do. I brought this here just as a convenience for X. So we're going to face forward. Okay, this is a really common hip stretch for the front of the hip. We're stretching the front of the hip and we're engaging the glute in the back here. So we just did those pelvic rotations. What I want you to think about, X, is that tail. You're going to tuck that tail underneath you. And you should already feel a slight stretch in the front of the hip there. And you really want to use your glute, right? Biggest, strongest muscle in the body, tightest area for a lot of people. So what I want you to think about is you're going to squeeze that glute, you're going to tuck that pelvis, and I don't want you to overarch your back. The biggest mistake people make on these is they overarch their back. So now what I want you to do, tucked pelvis, nice tall posture, squeeze those glutes, see if you can squeeze some abs as well, and then I want you to slightly go forward into that stretch, maintaining that glute squeeze. You're going to keep those glutes squeezed throughout. Come forward, feel that intense stretch, and then I want you to pull back without losing that glute. Perfect. So that would be 1 rep. Let's go ahead and get about 5 or 6 reps here, nice and slow. You see that you don't really need to go that far. If you're feeling that stretch intensely in the front of the hip, then you're good. Just don't lose that glute. It's not a passive motion. Remember, guys, mobility is different than flexibility. Mobility is active. We're not just trying to bounce in and out of that stretch. You can tell his range of motion, he's really only moving about 6 inches, maybe even less. And he's controlling his breathing there. As you go deeper into a stretch, you want to have a good exhale. Awesome. All right, and then once you're ready, go ahead and switch sides there, X. As we're going through these movements today, guys, you may find that one of the areas is tighter than the other. It could be left to right side. Or I do one movement and you notice, oh man, this is really intense. That could be an argument or reason to do that for a second set. Today we're going to go through 1 set on everything. Good. Nice tall posture. Make sure you're not arching your back. See if you can feel some abs with that tucked pelvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel those abs, awesome. You didn't know that you'd be doing core work today. Good, just a couple more reps there, X. So this is why we go over that tucked pelvis. If you overarch your back, you start to wonder, are you sure this is a hip exercise? Because all I'm feeling it in is my lower back. That's why we really try to capitalize on that. Good. Let's go ahead and do one more, X. Good, and then real quick, let's switch legs. I just want you to get an angle facing towards me so that people can see another viewpoint here. All right, so remember, we're gonna tuck that pelvis. We're gonna have a nice tall posture, no overarch in the back. And then I want you to squeeze that glute, let yourself come forward. And then still engaging, I want you to pull it back nice and slow. Perfect, so that's what one of your reps should look like. And you can tell by the expression on his face, he's really having to engage, right? That's what we're looking for. All right, so from there, we'll go ahead and move on to a squeeze with the yoga block. So right now he's gonna lie on his back. Good, let's move away from the box just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you can use the yoga block in a few different ways. You can have it on that thin side there. You can rotate it to the wider side. It really depends on the comfort of your hips. I've noticed with a lot of women, you need to go a bit wider with the blocks, wider hips, right? But just find that motion that feels good for you, or try a couple reps in one position and see if you can switch it. So what he's gonna think about here is, again, tucking that pelvis underneath, okay? And then from there, try to use your abs and the muscles on the front of your hips to squeeze that block and lift those hips. Perfect. He's jumping ahead a little bit here. So let's from there, we got the pelvis under position. We got that block squeezed. And then he's gonna lift the knees towards his chest. Perfect. And then he's gonna fight against that with his hands. So he's gonna create an isometric, and then he's gonna rotate those feet out. Good, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So these reps are gonna be about 3 seconds long. And again, these are intense, right? This one movement here can really make you feel a lot of things in your hips. That's what we're trying to create right now. We wanna be efficient with our time. So we're gonna do 3 more reps here now that you've seen what one looks like. And I'm gonna keep going over the cueing as we do them. It's simple in like how I'm explaining it, I would say, but the execution, you really gotta keep all those factors going. So tuck those hips, good. Squeeze that block with your inner thigh muscles. Then you're gonna lift the knees with the hip flexors, and then you're gonna fight against it. And then finally rotate those feet out to the side. 2, 1, and relax. Good. I like taking breaths like that in between, because if you try to hold your breath too long, it's going to make you a little bit dizzy. And also, just to really put everything into each rep, we're trying to get quality over quantity here. That's what we want to be doing. So we're going to do 2 more reps. 2 more reps. I'll go through those cues one more time. Tuck the hips. Yep. Squeeze the block. Then we're going to engage the front of the hips. Fight against it with our hands. Now that we create that tension, rotate those feet out. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. We're cramping. We predicted this, though. We talked about this, guys. I know a lot of people freak out about cramps. They do suck. Cramps are typically a signal here that something's a little bit weaker than something else. Something's a little bit tighter. We can work around cramps. Cramps aren't classified as an injury. They're just something that we have to deal with as we're gaining our mobility, right? All right, last rep here. Good engagement. Yep. Squeeze that block. Lift, press into the hands, and get that rotation. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right. Consistent cramps. Someone needs more mobility. Wouldn't you agree, guys? I think a little bit more mobility would do him good. All right. So now I want to go over one little thing that I like to do on these to switch it up. I got this from a book by Kelly Starrett. He's a physical therapist, pretty big in the mobility field. So what we're going to do is keep a lot of that engagement the same, but instead of pushing on the hands, he's going to do a counter push and a pull here. So you're gonna tuck the pelvis. You're gonna engage, those abs, lift up. And what I want you to do is push down on one knee and I want you to pull on the other like you're trying to twist. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Yeah. So if you guys have ever had a low back situation and you can't really engage that lower back, a twisting motion might really help. 3, 2, 1, good. So what he's doing, if I can show the camera here, he's in that bent knee position, and before we were pushing both palms on the knees. Now what he's doing is he's pushing down on one knee and he's pulling on the other one. So if you think of your pelvis as a bowl, he's trying to twist that bowl. He's introducing some torque. I don't know if he's going to survive this, guys. We'll have EMTs on standby. Okay, so next we're going to switch to that other side. So did you get both sides twisted there? Okay, let's go back and forth between one more of each side. We want to pull on one knee X, and then we want to push on the other one. You want to keep those hips level? Yep. So let's get a hand like right here. 2, 1, good. And then we'll get one more. 3, 2, 1, perfect. And relax. All right, doing pretty well here. Okay, so from there, we're going to go into a side lying series. Side lying series. Just imagine that you're sleeping in bed, you're on your side, you got a pillow under your head. We can go ahead and put the pillow under our head for that one. All right, we'll get our second yoga block over here. We're gonna put that between our knees. Perfect. The yoga block under the head really helps with the neck. That way you're not engaging that muscle the whole time, takes your mind off of the hips. We got the yoga block in between the knees there. So with our hips, really important to understand our hips love to rotate. When someone says they have tight hips, typically what I find is their hips can't fully rotate. When do your hips rotate? When you walk, when you run, when you squat. I could go on and on. They really rotate through all movements, and it's never just one little rotation. When you squat, you're going through external rotation where your hips turn out. When you squat, you're going through internal rotation where your hips rotate in. If you think about the feet rotating in and out, that's a good, simple way of understanding that your hips are rotating. So what we're going to do now is bend those knees like he's got them there. That's a good position. And he's going to have a subtle squeeze of this block. It's really just to make sure as he's rotating that his hips aren't going up or down here. It gives him a base to return to. All right, now this one you're gonna feel on the outside of your hip. Based on where he was cramping before, I think that we're gonna create some more cramps right now, just a heads up, okay? So from that position, what I want him to do is try with this leg here, he's gonna rotate that foot up. This is internal rotation, good, find that top position, perfect. And then I want him to slowly come back down. All right, here's the real meat and potatoes. So that's 1 rep. We're gonna go ahead and do 8 reps total. And on the last rep, we're gonna hold that top position. Good. And as we do things today, I want you to notice, it's good to look at how high your foot goes so you can get an idea if your hip is able to rotate on one side versus the other a little bit better. Good. 3. Notice how he's making fists right here. Of course, that's saying that he's really engaging, but also it just gets you to really focus. If you have no tension in your upper body, it's sometimes hard to brace down here, right? Yeah. Did something just pop? No. Okay, the block. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do 4 more. Very good. Perfect. Just like when we squat, guys, we'll always tell people to engage their core. So he's trying to get a really good engagement throughout the body. That's a good idea for mobility in general. All right, we're going to do 2 more. 1 normal, 1 normal, and then we're going to get 1 where we hold. Okay, so this last one, we're going to go for a 10-second hold. Get to that top position. 10, 9, that's a lot of time, right? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. So that is really trying to say, okay, we can rotate our hips. Now we want to really engage those muscles. For me, that is the secret to getting through some cramps. All right, if we want to go to the other side, X, you can just face this other way.
Look at that sweat.
You didn't know you were going to sweat in this, right? Nope. So we'll get a good block position. Let's try to match that knee position from the other side. That first rep, I wanted you to think of it as you're exploring a little bit. Good. So I'm already noticing he's getting about the same range of motion. Really good sign there.
I'm straight.
2, very good, very good.
2 is tight.
3. So he's telling me it's tight. He's feeling it in the same part. If it feels tight, but we're getting a similar range of motion, that's an easier situation to deal with. It's usually meaning that we're doing the right thing here. 5. Let's go ahead and get 3 more. 6. You guys might not be able to hear this, but things are popping.
It was my stomach.
Let's get that last one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we'll see if he survives. We still got a couple more movements left. So we just covered hip internal rotation. When I use words like that, it's mostly how we classify things. These aren't things that you need to fully grasp at the beginning. It's more that you need to understand, okay, my hips rotate. How many different ways can they rotate? They can rotate in, they can rotate out. Even if you don't remember which one is which, you just want to cover those bases. Today, when we're doing these hip mobility exercises, I'm trying to find a bunch of movements here that are going to give us a generalized hip mobility session without focusing in on one area in particular. We're trying to cover a bunch of things at once. Perfect. So now we're going to go over hip external rotation. So yeah, you can stay with the block under there, but we're going to put the yoga block over here, okay? And you're going to put the block, foot on top of that block, and then bring that other knee forward. So what he's going to do is he's going to place this left leg, this bottom leg, knee going straight out in front of that hip. You can keep it down for now. So we just went over internal rotation. If it was this leg, it would be rotating up. So now he's going to be rotating this foot in. When I was younger, I played a lot of hacky sack. So you think of lifting that foot and hitting it with the inside of the foot there. This is, again, that second part of the rotation. Perfect. He's already jumping into that demo. Good. Yeah, so really when you're trying to engage here, you're again going to feel muscles on the outside of the hip. You might feel some stuff on the inside of the hip. When we're lying on our side, we got the pressure from the ground. So go ahead and lift. Good. That range of motion is pretty good here. And you want to pay attention to your torso. So you don't want to be overarching in your back. You don't want to be rounded to one side here. Very good. Let's keep going next. Perfect. So as a little bonus here, just to mess around with Coach X, we can actually assist a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll try to increase that range of motion, and then I just want you to slowly return. Try to fight that. Perfect. Perfect. Good. Let's go ahead and get 4 more reps on this side, and we're going to hold that 8th rep. Make sure when you're getting into that movement, you're trying not to move anything else. Let me adjust this block just a little bit. There we go. Good, and you should be pushing down with this foot to brace. Nice. Okay, let's go 2 more, 2 more. Good. Coaches can't count, guys. Is it that we can't count, or we just want them to do more reps? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep holding. 7, 8, 9, 10. Why is he acting like he's been shot? All right, let's go ahead and move over to that other side. We're getting pretty close here. So notice the yoga block position, guys. You can flip it over for comfort on the neck. We just don't want any distractions as we're doing these. He's got this yoga block turned on its side. I'd put it right under the foot. For bracing here, he's going to squeeze his hand. He's going to push down through this shoe. Good range of motion there. Make sure as you're doing these, you're not lifting this leg off the ground. If you do that, you create a twist through the body. And then again, we're focusing on too many different areas. He's going to roll off this block. So we want to keep everything even and consistent. Very nice. There's 2. We're going to get 6 more. Awesome. Notice how he's not bouncing into the reps. He's not trying to rush things. You're trying to get that peak contraction, brief hold, and then come back down. I would say try to hang out about 1 second at the top. Good. We'll go 4 more. Beautiful. Good. Let's go 2 more. Perfect. On this last one, he's going to hold. 10-second hold here. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Okay, guys, so we got our last movement coming. So for this last movement, we're going to do a hip car. The reason I like to keep the cars at the end here is that when we're doing hip cars, we're trying to ask ourselves, what can this joint do? Can we go through all those ranges of motion? So today we went, so we're going to do a side lying one actually, X. So yeah, same position. There you go. So when we're doing hip cars, what is a car? A car is a controlled articular rotation. It's from a training group called Functional Range Conditioning. The idea was started by a guy that was trying to find a way for people to rehab their joints on their own. And by learning what the joint can do, you can create that tension, go through all those positions. So you're going to tuck your knees a little bit like we just had. So bring them a little bit forward. Perfect. And what he's going to do is, let's bring them a little down.
This one?
Both of them a little bit down. Yeah, more like that.
Like this.
And then we don't need to bend them quite as much. Okay, so we're laying on our side just like that. I may put this block right here. He can squeeze that block, and this top hand, put it over the block like that. There you go. Yeah, so you're going to want to squeeze this so that as you're moving this hip all around, it doesn't make you want to twist and fall out of position. This one takes a little bit to get used to. So when you're doing this one, don't worry about isolating the positions yet. Just worry about, can you get that fullest range of motion with engagement? And if you look at X's face, he's going to be thinking, how can I really brace as I do these movements? So what I want you to do first is you're going to focus on this top knee, this top leg. I want you to bring that knee closer to your stomach, closer to your chest. Perfect. There's that start position for the hip flexor. Now you're going to rotate that leg up. Good. And you're going to face that block. Okay? He's going to feel that on the outside of his hip. Now you're going to rotate that knee back. Perfect. Keep going. And you should find your glute right there. And then from there, I want you to slowly lower the leg down. Perfect. And you may be able to tap that foot on the ground, have a brief rest. So notice that this leg is behind the body. That's hip extension. Now you're going to lift it and you're going to go backwards. Good. Rotate through. Cramp. We'll need some medics. Someone get this guy a water bottle. Jeez. So let's come back through. Get to the outside of the hip here. That's that outer glute. And then he's going to bring that knee forward. Bring that leg down. Go into a rest. Good. So you want to have a rest position at the beginning, and you want to have a rest position at the end. As he demoed 1 rep, so let me talk about them one more time. This is a movement that I really like to focus on. If you did one thing today, this would be a way to get in touch with what can my hips do? How can I work on all those positions? If one of the positions is hard, that's a good reason to double down. Good, so we bring that knee up. I call this opening the gate. He's gonna rotate that hip open. Yep, he'll face a block. Now he's gonna rotate that leg back. Knee goes behind the other knee. And then he's gonna try to slowly touch down and maybe be able to rest with that foot. Perfect, get that brief rest. Now he's gonna reverse it. Good. And then he's gonna come forward and then down. Okay, let's walk through it 3 more times. So we're gonna do 3 more reps here. Knee comes forward, that's our hip flexor. Now we're gonna rotate out. He's trying to feel the outside of his glute. He's gonna face a block. This is where we rotate, try to reach this leg back. Perfect. Now we're trying to find that meaty part of the glute. Good, and then we're gonna slowly come down to the side here. Perfect. We don't wanna see a lot of movement through the core here. This is where you rotate back to that open gate position. Yep, and then we come forward and down. So X here, we've done a lot of movement already with the hips, but I can tell his hips are a little bit tight. It's really hard for him to hold. You can always reduce the range of motion. So maybe he doesn't go fully back. He stops right about there, especially if he feels tightness. And then he's gonna rotate, reach that leg back. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then slowly put that leg down. If you have a friend or coach there, they can really try to force you into staying in positions. When I say force, it could be assist. Depends on how you look at it. Good. And so now, yeah, he's just reducing that range of motion a little bit, still going through the general idea of the movement. X, I want us to just get 1 more good rep on this side, and then we're going to check out that other side. I think you need an extra one. It's a bonus rep. Rotate out, open that gate. Then you're gonna rotate, reach back with that heel. Good, good, good. Try to set that leg down. And then reverse it. Get to that open gate. Perfect. Perfect. Bring that knee close to the stomach. Place that down. Excellent. All right, now we know what we're doing. We're gonna go to that other side. Last little set here, guys. I don't think we could get another set. X is done. He's toast. All right, so we got those knees tucked. We're not tucking our knees all the way into our stomach, because if we did that, what are we gaining out of bringing that knee up to the chest, that top leg, right? So we want to bring them down just a little bit. Make sure that you're not starting in an overarched position. If X starts in this position, he's going to be stuck in that position the whole time. So we want to make sure that we're straight, long. We're not trying to engage anything in the pelvis at the beginning. We want to feel relaxed. Again, that's why I bring up that sleeping posture. So now we're going to be focusing on that right leg. Perfect. Bringing that knee close to the chest. Opening that gate. Facing a block, meaning he can't move any further. Now he has to rotate. Bringing that leg back. He's trying to find that glute. Perfect. And then he's going to set that foot down, try to relax. Good. Now he's going to lift that leg up. Yep. Get back to that open gate through the rotation. He's feeling that on the outside of his glute. Good. Bringing that knee close to the chest. Perfect. And relax. Perfect. Open gate. Rotate back. Try to find that main part of that glute, the glute max, and then he's going to place this foot down. So he's having little rests in between each rep where he can reset and deal with those cramps. One way that you guys can deal with cramps, you can try to stay hydrated. Electrolytes are really good. X is pretty hydrated, but in this case, you never know when you're going to get cramps. You just want to try to do what you can to be prepared. Perfect, and come back down. All right, X, on this side, let's go ahead and demonstrate like a smaller range of motion. I want you to hit those key points. Just do it as if you're the guy with the tightest hips in the world. You still want to get through the movement. So yeah, you rotate out a little bit, then you're going to reach that foot back. try to get some engagement and place it down. If you're feeling it in those key areas I'm talking about, the range of motion doesn't matter. Everyone's at a different starting point. And he comes back and he relaxes, okay? We're gonna do 2 more reps on this side to finish it off. 2 reps forward, 2 reps back. Good, get that open gate position. Rotate through, perfect, perfect, perfect. Try to slowly place that leg down, brief rest. That gives you a chance to breathe, re-engage. Rotate out, rotate in, perfect. There we go. But your body's noisy, man. What's going on over here? You can look at mobility as maintenance for the body, guys, right? Bringing that knee in, rotating out, facing a block, rotating that foot back. Good. And then we'll take one last trek back forward. Get that outward rotation. Bring that knee towards the chest. Are these audible pops? And relax. Okay, guys, so that is going to conclude our first mobility session over here. Yeah, throw in that water bottle. He's going to need it. So we're trying to make these sessions a little bit longer than we can do on social media because this actually gives you something to refer back to. Go ahead and save this into a playlist. There's going to be more coming. Each time we're going to cover one joint. We may double up if it's a smaller joint, for example, like a wrist and elbow. We'll try to do this same format. Usually we're going to be using yoga blocks. We might have a small box like we have over there. For everything today, I would recommend 1 set. For the first movement that we did, the pelvic rotations, you know, I'm doing anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. I would say that's a good range to stay in. When I'm having you do an isometric hold where you're really engaging, 3 seconds. Past that, it's kind of hard to hold your breath and keep that engagement. But yeah, everything we're doing today, 1 set, 5 to 10 reps. Let us know down below in the comment section how you guys like it. And give us a subscribe here because we're going to be having more content for you guys. Thanks, guys.